Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. This is where accounting professionals just like you learn all the ways to grow their firm, sharpen their skills, and have consistent increasing sales. I cover topics such as detaching from the emotional side of the sale, having paradigm shifts in the most important part of your business, which is the nucleus of your accounting firm, sales, and how to see an objection really as an asset and stop giving away your time for free for those that don't deserve it, so you can actually get paid your value and your worth and grow your top line revenue. You'll learn tips, sales strategies, as well as hear from personal interviews from successful accounting professionals. This podcast will show you exactly the blueprint on how to create the firm and life of your dreams full of abundance. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Today we have a very unique episode because it's only me. And if you're an accounting, tax, or bookkeeping firm owner and you are drowning in low-value client work or dreading another busy season because you know it just means long nights, endless emails, and barely any time for your family, and you're sick of tax season, you're sick of extension season, you're sick of being put up against a deadline at all times, or maybe you're constantly stressed and exhausted, wondering if this is just how this is going to be, the truth is none of that is the real problem. The real problem is that you don't have a system to convert your ideal clients into premium paying clients. And you're not maximizing your revenue, nor do you have a path to gain back your freedom. Here at the Abundant Accountant, I'll show you the exact system that's helped hundreds of firm owners not only double their revenue, but eliminate their AR and finally enjoy their firm again without working long hours or chasing clients down for paperwork or payments. If you're ready to stop trading time for dollars, go to theabundantcall.com and book your complimentary strategy session with me and my team. We're going to look at your current setup, we'll uncover some of your biggest revenue blockers, and lay out a custom roadmap for your firm that you probably always dreamt of having. And if we vibe, great, we can explore and talk about how to implement it together. And if not, we'll just part friends and maybe you'll send us a few referrals in the future. No matter what, it's a win-win. But the only way you lose is by not taking action. So head on over to theabundantcall.com, grab your spot, the first one you see, before it disappears. And now we're going to get into today's episode. So today's episode stems from a webinar that I did, and I had no time to do Q&A. And it was about the 5 major money leaks that most firm owners have in their firm. And let me run these by you to see if any of these leaks resonate with you. So the 5 major money leaks, the first one is taking on clients that are not a fit for you. I would love to know how many firm owners feel stuck in a rut taking on clients that just aren't a fit. Or what about giving away free advice and answering quick questions? Does that ever happen in your firm? Or the third money leak is scope creep. If you've had scope creep, then make sure you grab your notepad and pen and pay attention for today. Or what about accounts receivable? Or what about the amount of money you've never even billed out for because you just forgot? You didn't take notes on what you did for a client and you literally just worked for free and never accounted or attributed to any of it. And money leak number 5 is not having a sales system. So those, I would say, are the 5 hidden areas where firm owners leak time, energy, and profit. And you can see how long these can have a long-term growth impact or burnout on your firm. It can go the positive or it can go the negative. So I think today in our conversation, I'm going to have a conversation with myself. You're going to listen and take notes. Hopefully you can learn how to define and really communicate some boundaries by knowing who your ideal client is, learning on how and when to say no without guilt, and really setting yourself up to work with only the clients who are going to pay your worth and that are aligned with who you want to work with. Because as firm owners, we need to protect your expertise. And how do we do that? We have to prevent scope creep. We have to end the cycle of giving away free advice and maintain control over every single client engagement. And we also want to make sure that your cash flow is flowing. We have to get paid up front. You have to eliminate AR. And we need to create predictable revenue while reducing stress and master a simple sales framework that helps you confidently convert premium clients, clearly communicate your value, and easily grow your top line revenue. So if you're wondering if you should listen to the conversation today on the Q&A portion of the 5 money leaks, this is for an accounting, tax, bookkeeping, fractional CFO firm owner who you're great at what you do, but you still find yourself stuck financially. You're working harder without seeing the return, and you likely have money leaks draining your profits in your firm. So today we're going to talk about those 5 common money leaks that I just described. And this is what I truly believe keeps firm owners overworked and underpaid. So we're going to talk about how you can close those gaps, take back control of your time, and unlock the potential revenue that you are truly capable of receiving in your firm without sacrificing your sanity or giving away your expertise for free. So let's get into the first question that I got asked. And they asked me, Michelle, are there free engagement letters that I can share with you? And I think it's a great question, but I want you to know that here at The Abundant Accountant, I am not an attorney. So I don't provide engagement letter templates. I don't provide legal documents. I am not a lawyer. However, I always do recommend that firm owners, you find a qualified attorney to draft these engagement letters for you that can, meet your state regulations and any other regulations in it. But what I can help with and what we do here at The Abundant Accountant is show you how do you communicate the scope? How do you communicate your pricing and what you're going to include in that engagement and what you're not going to include in that engagement. So expectations clearly inside your engagement letters are super crucial to avoid scope creep. There are also companies like Ignition and Anchor and a few others that have engagement letter templates that have, they work with attorneys, and they're great programs and different softwares for the industry because they also help you get paid up front and in full. So I've definitely seen how Ignition works. Anchor, I've heard. They have different pricing. If you're an established firm owner, one might be better for the other. If you're kind of new, doing a few engagements, Anchor might be a better option. But no matter what, go get an attorney because you want to avoid needing that legal backup in the first place. And everything that you do, and all of my clients have also taught me about Circular 230, which you should go look up if you're doing tax. But you have to have a signed engagement letter before you do any work. So I always wonder, how come there's so many firm owners that are doing work for free without a signed engagement letter? And then you wonder, how come you're not getting paid for it? So that is my take on engagement letters and what you should do. So now let's go into another topic that kind of goes along with engagement letters, which is accounts receivable. Accounts receivable, if you have it, you're basically a free bank. You're not charging interest. You're not charging anything. You're basically lending money for free, which doesn't make any sense. So the best way to clear up your old AR is to stop adding to it, number one. So you need to get paid up front. So start billing up front, collecting the payment in the sales meeting, asking for the payment, doing ACH, charging before the work gets done. If you're doing monthly accounting, monthly bookkeeping, I always like for you guys to get paid on the 30th or 31st of the month for the following month. So you're always getting paid, making sure the payment's clear before you lift a finger and do any work. So with the AR that's already outstanding, I typically coach my clients to personally call and collect that money over the phone. So it could go something like this. In order for us to continue working together, we need to bring your account current. And I take full responsibility in that I have let this slide for too long, but I can no longer afford to continue moving forward this way. So your outstanding balance of $5,000, how would you like to pay? Would you like to pay with an ACH, Amex, Visa? Which works best for you? And then you're going to wait and see what they have to say. And then you're going to collect the payment. So it's a mindset shift. You're not chasing money. We're basically just reclaiming the value you've already delivered. We're acknowledging the fact that this is your fault, and we are going to collect any old AR that hasn't been collected. And I like to tell my clients that this is an energy shift. And when you have AR, you are out of balance. And if you are out of balance, how can you have a highly profitable firm without having that money in your bank account? And this is one of the biggest major money leaks that I've seen firm owners have. And it's one that you can completely collect all of your AR. I have had so many clients collect all of their AR. And I'm talking 50,000, 100,000. I've had one client that had over $1 million of AR. I think when we were together, he collected over 400,000 just by following what I just told you to do. So I would pick up the phone. If you have 20 people that owe you AR, you're going to call all 20 in one day. If you collect from 2, you'll have 18 left. The next day, you're going to call 18, and you're going to just continue to call. You've done good work. You deserve to get paid, and it's time to make that happen, and then also put a stop to it going forward. Now, I did have this other question about we have mostly flat fee engagements, but when things take a lot of extra time, how do we add to that additional fee? So scope creep is one of the biggest money leaks, as I had mentioned earlier. And what we need to do is build a process where we always are managing to the engagement letter. So if in your engagement letter, you read it and you're like, okay, let me take a pause and reframe this agreement. What would that look like? And we have to be able to have the confidence to communicate to our clients that this is out of scope, or this is requiring a lot of extra time that I did not account for. And this is a lot of work that I didn't, think was going to be what was going to happen. Now, there's some ways you can rectify that so you get a better gist of the time that it might take to do a project. So you could say something like, this request is definitely outside the scope of our original engagement letter we signed. And I want to make sure that you feel fully supported and that I can do this work for you. And I'd love to meet with you so we can discuss what the additional engagement or addendum would look like to this. The biggest key takeaway for you is to have this conversation before you do any work. I think there's just too many firm owners, and you can send me an email if you think I'm wrong, but you want to please, you want to help the client. They've already paid you. You're terrified that they're going to leave you, they're going to fire you, or whatever it may be. But when in reality, people will really value your authenticity and you just being open and honest about what's happening. And that if you had allotted, 40-ish hours in your head for a project and you think it's going to take 120, you need to say something. I was doing some work on my house. If you've listened to this podcast for a while, you know that I've done a lot of work on this very expensive fixer-upper I got. But specifically, I had to get these windows changed out. And it was like 320 feet of windows, glass sliding, big project. Well, we were going through the project, and then the main owner of the business, he said, Michelle, there's a lot of rotted wood from all the windows that were leaking prior. We didn't notice this until we started to demo everything, take out the old doors, and now we've noticed it, and we like to do work the right way. In order to do that, this is going to be an extra day's worth. It'll be an extra, I don't remember, let's just call it $5,000. And so I want to make sure that the work is done right and that you approve this before we do anything. How come the contractors do that on work stuff, but in the accounting, tax, fractional CFO, bookkeeping firm owner world, we just continue to do work and say, oh, we'll have that conversation later, and you stuff it under the table? You're going to have such a much better outcome if we start to have these conversations before the work begins. So I just invite you to put your contractor's hat on, just like those guys did with me, and say, you know what? I see a lot of rotted wood, which could be a lot of transactions that you didn't account for, or whatever it may be. But you are here to serve and support the client, and you're going to do it the right way moving forward. Okay? So that is what I would say for how you deal with these flat fee engagements, but it's taking you extra time or there was extra work that you just didn't foresee. It just kind of came out of left field. Now, how do you fire clients when you need the revenue to hold you over for when the good ones come? This is probably one of the hardest things for many firm owners to do, especially if you're a newer firm owner and you feel like you have to take on any human walking being that comes through the door, but they drain your energy and your health and your time and everything else. And it's tough. But keeping a toxic or unaligned client that doesn't meet your boundaries or who you're really truly looking to work with will drain you emotionally and financially. And here's the truth. You cannot make room for better clients when you are clinging on to the bad ones just because you need the money. That's coming from a place of desperation and scarcity versus seeing this from a place of abundance. And one of my clients, Rachel, actually dealt with this exact thing, and her health was taking a toll. She was physically getting sick, and it was one of the hardest things for her to let go. But once she let go of that client, her health came back. She was in better spirits. She got a few clients enrolled in a coaching program that she just created. And so her creativity came back. But I would just start with your bottom 10%. Who are the ones that drive you crazy? Who are the clients that give you the headaches? Who are the ones that create stress, anxiety, depression, anger, right? Like, who are those ones? And go and get rid of them. I know the discomfort is temporary, but the relief and the space for growth, that's all long-term, you guys. Everything is possible when we can let go of the clients that are the hardest ones because you need the money. You just have to believe in yourself. And I just did a podcast on this because the belief that we have in ourselves and the belief that we have in getting other people to believe in us is the foundational elements to you being able to enroll and attract ideal, high-paying premium clients. But when you hold on to toxic clients, because you need to hang on to them until the good ones come, that is your biggest thing holding your back. So, like I said, I get the discomfort and just know it's temporary because the relief in the space for growth is for the long term. That's the long haul. So that would be my 2 cents on that. And I want to share too, like, how do you handle clients who seem interested and they confirm the investment that they're going to pay you and then they don't follow through after? They ghost you. They blame you, they blame whatever, or you just flat out never hear from them. It's a sign that your sales process is out of whack. You've got leaks in your sales process. So in my money leaks, that's the 5th major one. And here at the Abundant Accountant, I teach our clients how to end sales conversations with clear next steps. No payment links, no quotes, no proposals, nothing like that. We actually want to offer a client to work with us in that moment. We want to ask them to work with us, to engage us, to get a payment. So if you're vague and saying, okay, I'll send you a quote, I'll send you my proposal to review, your boat is going to sink. You have so many holes in your boat. And if someone ghosts you, that's on them, but it's also your job to protect your time and have a solid sales process, just like you have a solid process to do the monthly accounting, to do the tax return, to do the resolution case, to do their monthly financials and forecasting. Whatever that service on the technical side you do in your firm, you have a process. So how come you don't have a process for the sales part? Because it's not the client's fault. We have to start looking at ourselves and saying, where do I close the loop to make this shift so my clients see my value and I can also do this in a right way where I can handle objections right now if needed. So that's how I'd handle if someone's ghosting you, what you need to change. Now, some of you in your firm have a free 30-minute needs assessment or consultation. And I would consider changing it. There's a lot of factors, but if you go to theabundantcall.com and book your complimentary strategy call with us, this is one of the things we can discuss on that call and walk through it if it makes sense. If you notice, like I've heard from many clients, you're having a lot of coffee dates which is what I call a 30-minute needs assessment. You're seeing if they would be really a good fit. How many of those do you have until you start wondering, am I like just giving away my brain for free? Remember that as a firm owner, our knowledge is in our head. That is our quote unquote inventory that would be sitting on a shelf if we were a restaurant or a different type of business with physical inventory. Our inventory is invisible. It's visible because we have our knowledge, but it's invisible because it's not physical and you can't touch and see it. So if you want to spend time with clients, I have definitely had my fair share of clients charge for a diagnostic or a strategy session, something that has some real value. I highly recommend that if you're very busy and you have a lot of people that want to book with you, because this will weed out the tire kickers. You can position it as a $250 or $500 service fee. Some of you might want to apply that fee to a future engagement if they decide to move forward with you on, let's say, a cleanup project or a resolution case. Ways to weed out tire kickers, and it also positions you as a premium expert. So just know that those are options. For us, we are offering a complimentary call with you if you go to theabundantcall.com. Now, you do fill out an application, and there's certain steps that we look for and that things that we read. But we're not here to say, okay, we're going to work with every person that schedules a phone call with us. But if you're the right fit and we believe that we can help you, you're going to know about it. We're going to actually tell you right then and there that, yes, we can help you. And then it's up to you if you want to explore what it would look like working together and then how you could implement a sales system. And we actually walk you through that, because we know some people might enroll with us. So I don't need to charge for that call, but I know a lot of firm owners who do want to charge for that call. And that's okay, because either way, everyone wins. Really, the only way you lose and the only way your clients lose is by not taking action and doing anything about it. They don't take action to book a call with you. You guys don't take action to reach out to us for support. You keep trying to figure it out on your own. Everything is a choice and a decision, and it's up to you and your clients to make that decision. Okay. Now, I got another question, and it was about how do you switch from build after to build before with existing clients? So this is about getting paid up front. And I always like to start out with a communication campaign to our clients. It's a great way to let them know about any price increases. It's a great way to let them know that, you're providing these high-level services and to avoid disruptions and to focus more on the client work than the chasing the money. You've found it necessary to transition to getting paid in advance. And you can give them a date on when this is happening. It should seem flawless and easy. And some clients might be paying what it looks like 2 monthly payments, for example, at once, because maybe you were paying after the work was done and now you're switching to before. So it might occur that there might be a larger payment if you are doing like a monthly bookkeeping or accounting project. Typically on your one-off projects, if you're doing a tax plan, a resolution case, or any just a cleanup, it doesn't matter, one of those one-offs, you just get paid up front. But the great thing about that is if someone has an issue with your price or objects to price, you can be clear, consistent, and handle the objection right then and there. You're never going to have to wonder and ponder, oh, I wonder what they think about my meeting today. I wonder if they're going to go and sign my proposal. They said they were interested and that they were good with the price, but then I never heard from them. All that stuff doesn't suck up any more of your energy anymore. So that's the beautiful thing about getting paid in advance. And if any credit cards don't clear, you can have someone get updated credit cards. But I've seen it really nice where you can set this up with your ACH and do it on auto bill through their debit accounts. So that's how I would handle that. Now, I was asked this other question about what's a good strategy to review existing clients and professionally drop the ones who are not a good fit. And that sort of goes to the other question about firing clients who drive you crazy even though you need the money. You have to look at your engagement letters and run like a client audit. You could look at profitability. You can look at communication style. You can look to see if there's scope creep and kind of grade all of them at one time for each of these different elements. And then look at who is my ideal client and who do I want to work with and who do I not. And then I would look at your bottom 20% and say, okay, if they paid me 4 or 5 times the amount I'm getting paid now, would I still want to work with them? And if not, then you can literally just say something along these lines. My firm is taking a different approach and we're no longer going to be doing X, Y, and Z. We've reassessed our capacity and our focus. And moving forward at this time, I no longer think that we're going to be the best fit to suit you. I'd be more than happy to transition you to another firm once you find them. And please let me know how I can support you. So that's if you want to get rid of them. If you want to increase the price, that's a whole nother conversation, probably not one for this podcast episode, but you can always go to theabundantcall.com and book your free strategy call with me and my team, because I'm all about turning these kinds of conversations into conversions, into money in your bank account. But we definitely need to let go of any existing clients. I would even look not only at profitability, communication style, scope creep, are they your ideal client, but who emotionally drains you? Who is creating anxiety, depression, anger, frustration, and list the names as I'm saying that. And if any of those names come up, I literally would just cut them. You are going to be amazed as to how much you will attract in the future of new potential clients that you had no idea were even there for you. So I would do that. So someone had asked me, do I need to re-engage clients every single year? My recommendation would be yes. I think it's really important to meet with your clients every year, have price increase enrollment conversation meetings. That's a sales meeting. Re-engagement letters. So get new engagement letters, assess if there's scope creep or not. Do you need to raise the fees, realign the scope, assess client fit, etc. It is a great opportunity to also reaffirm clients' expectations. It's also an opportunity for upselling. You could upsell advisory services. You could upsell tax planning. People's businesses change so fast and so drastically. I mean, just think about how many clients reach out to you and say, hey, I want to get this electric vehicle. Is this best? Or I want to do these home improvements on my home or on the business. What's best? And they ask you all these one-off random questions. And then you're wondering, why do I keep answering all these one-off random emails? Where what you should be doing is having a sales meeting and addressing everything all at once, asking questions, creating a questionnaire, like really having this client think in advance of all the potential things they want to do in the next year. How do you look ahead and be more proactive versus being that reactive firm owner? And when you can re-engage your clients every year, you will automatically be taking the proactive approach versus that reactive approach. Okay, so it should be really supportive. Yeah, that's how I would change that. I would be meeting with your clients all the time, all year round, so it doesn't feel overwhelming. Now, I got this other question. Can a full service accounting firm be truly specialized? Absolutely. Specialization doesn't mean only doing one service. Specialization could be you become an expert with a certain niche, with a certain industry. What if you just worked with dentists and you got really good at all the unique ins and outs of owning a dental practice? Like for me, I have a truly specialized niche with accounting, tax, fractional CFO, and bookkeeping firm owners. I know the challenges that each of you has selling your services. So I can speak to that. I can help you overcome any of those. So if you are doing tax, bookkeeping, payroll, and advisory all to dentists, for example, that is still a niche. That's becoming truly specialized, doing multiple services for one type of industry. And when you can get good at it, whoo, the sky's the limit because you can speak their language, just like I can speak your language. A lot of people are like, Michelle, how do you know about Circular 230? I'm like, do you know how many tax firm owners I've worked with? I am going to learn all the things that you can leverage in your industry so you can become the best firm owner you can be. That's what I'm here for. So one of the other questions I got is, how do you address clients who try to do it yourself filings but keep asking for free help? Now, this is simply a boundaries issue that you have in your firm, and you have not set your boundary clear. You have not been firm. And so when you let people walk all over you, it's what kind of happens. So you could say something like, since you've chosen to handle your filing on your own, I'm actually not able to provide you guidance without a formal engagement letter. And then you could take the lingo from Circular 230. If you would like the support, I'd be happy to meet with you, or I'd be happy to send you my questionnaire to fill out to see what the next best steps would be for you and your filing, or for you and your books, or whatever that is. I just want you as the firm owner to remember, you are not their safety net. They're not paying you for the parachute to get down safely. So why are we bending over backwards for people who just keep asking you for free help? If they're not willing to follow your rules, let them move on. You get to work with people who follow your rules because you are worth it. And the best way to turn down a client after a consult when they really want to work with you is, again, thinking about the things I was sharing earlier. Do they meet your communication style? Are they are they moving along with the scope of the engagement? Do they meet your ideal client profile? If for some reason at any time someone is not meeting that, you can simply turn them down in a very nice way. Say, after our meeting and reviewing your situation, I just don't believe we're going to be the best fit to support you with where you want to take your business right now. I know it's important that you work with someone who's aligned to get to whatever they shared with you, your goal for profitability and hiring the right staff. And I want what's best for you. I just don't think I'm going to be the best firm for you. So I hope you find someone who's great and who matches exactly what you're looking for. So that's how I would turn someone down. It's really easy to do. And there's a lot of ways you can prevent that. So you don't even have to waste that breath or feel guilty of turning someone down. But it's all possible to change. So just know that. Now, I got this question too about, and these are all great money leak problems, but the biggest one I would say, is the sales system, right? So how do you prepare for a discovery call if you don't have any client specifics? And that's the biggest problem. You need to be getting client specifics before you ever have a sales meeting with anyone. It's kind of like going to the dentist. If you go to the dentist, before you see the dentist, I should say, you see a dental hygienist. Before you see the dental hygienist, they do x-rays on your teeth. Why are firm owners meeting with people without seeing the x-rays first? In our world, the x-rays are access to QuickBooks, seeing their books, getting copies of tax returns, getting financials, getting the mail from the IRS if you're in a resolution situation. What are the different things that you can get in advance? So you can have all of the data and you can see where you need root canals being done, where might they have some cavities. And guess what? If they don't complete it, they're not going to be the right fit for you. If someone doesn't complete your questionnaire or gets you the information in advance, do you think they're ever going to follow through with meeting your deadlines, getting their documents uploaded to your secure portal on time? No, you're going to be dealing with the client that drives you bananas. They want their return done first, yet they can't even upload a W-2 or get you a K-1 in time. So remember, your job is to qualify. It's not to consult. We don't consult. We only work with clients once we get paid. So just know that before you have a sales meeting, you need to get client specifics. You need to review all of this as if you had the x-rays into their mouth or into their business. Now, one of the ways, once you get the client specifics and best methods to determine if a client is a good fit, is to really think about your process in advance. If they meet this criteria and they do what I say, then I go to next step. If I confirm the appointment and they show up and we go through the discovery call and they tell me they want to think about it, talk to their business partner, they want to review my proposal and engagement letter and blah, 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 you got to really start to scratch your head and say, okay, what did they not understand in this last hour conversation? So really determining if a client's a good fit goes back to the things I was talking about earlier. Looking at the communication style. How are they acting? How are they looking at the scope of this kind of engagement with you? What did they ask you when you went over the engagement letter? Do they meet your ideal client profile? Are they going to drive you crazy? How's their personality? Those are all important elements. And guess what, too? And I want to end it with this. If a client truly has a quick question or asks you, how do you charge for that? Or says, isn't it enough to raise the rates and include just a few questions? That's someone who doesn't value you, okay? It's really important that you get to determine your pricing. You figure out what are you worth and what are you going to be valued at. And really consider charging for those calls, doing paid consults if you find yourself in all these coffee dates, or figuring out a way to really learn how to sell and learn how to enroll, because you've created a firm. But if your firm feels like you created a job that you can't escape with no systems and no real plan for freedom, it is time to make a shift. You shouldn't have to hit burnout to get to your next revenue goal. And you don't need more clients. Let me tell you, you just need better quality ones. And you need a sales process to close and enroll them. So here at The Abundant Accountant, I show you how to package your services, raise your prices, and only work with those high margin clients who actually respect your time. So if you have enjoyed our conversation today, and that sounds like you, I recommend booking your complimentary strategy call with myself and my team over at theabundantcall.com. Let's lay out that roadmap for you that turns your firm into a real asset, not just a glorified job, okay? Theabundantcall.com. It's been an honor being with you today. I hope you can eliminate these 5 major money leaks that you have in your firm, and you never have to deal with them ever again. So you can never feel that overworked and underpaid feeling, but you can actually close those gaps. You can take back control of your time and unlock the revenue potential that I know you are capable of. I have helped thousands of firm owners, and you can do this without sacrificing your sanity or giving away your expertise for free. And I look forward to speaking to some of you soon. Theabundantcall.com.